I'm Vee Dub.
I'm Doug.
And welcome to Hillbilly Habitat Podcast. So welcome to today's episode. We're sitting here talking in the kitchen about Elon Musk and Doge.
Not Dogecoin.
Which I love Dogecoin. I wish it would get higher and higher and higher like Bitcoin, and then maybe I'd have something. But anyway, till then,
we'll just rub our pennies together.
That's right. That's right.
So this is a new temporary organization entity under the second administration of Donald Trump, which is the U.S. Doge Service Temporary Organization. So it is led by Elon Musk. He's the leader of this, appointed by Trump. It is not a cabinet-level department of the U.S. government, but it's temporarily contracted by Donald Trump, formerly known as the U.S. Digital Service. It's to carry out Trump's agenda of federal spending cuts and deregulation, and essentially cut all the unnecessary spending and then help modernize the technology in the government, because apparently their technology is very lacking.
In my opinion, this has been needed for decades. I don't know why he didn't do this his first term as president, but this is needed to be done forever in my mind. We've wasted so much money. We probably
billions and billions of dollars.
Yes, billions.
Billions and billions and billions and billions and billions and billions.
But we probably, definitely wouldn't have the deficit that we have. I think it's maybe $36 billion now, our national deficit, which is horrible.
Oh, it's in the trillions.
Yeah, or I'm sorry, trillions.
Yeah.
Not billions.
Not billions.
I'm sorry.
Trillions,
that
even
was
worse.
That was hopeful thinking when I said billions. It's like $36 trillion. So this is what we're passing on to our children, our children's children, and you can take it from there.
Yep.
Generations and generations from now are going to be paying, and it's just going to start increasing more and more.
Yep.
If we do not get a handle on it, and I believe this is the first step to really getting a handle on our national deficit because of the wasteful spending.
Yes. And it is only a temporary government entity. It's scheduled to essentially end July 4th, 2026. So this is a good trial run to see if this might be something that,
absolutely
could become something permanent.
I think this is something that needs to happen in county and city and every government around the nation. Because I know that we waste money. It's easy to spend money when it's not yours. Mm-hmm. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah.
When it's the taxpayers' money, a lot of people find it easy to spend that money because it's not coming out of their pocket per se.
Right.
I don't find it easy. I wouldn't find it easy to spend somebody else's money that they've put blood, sweat, and tears into. A dollar to me is very valuable, whether it's mine or somebody else's.
There it is! It's beautiful! Take your hat off, boy, that's a dollar bill!
Sometimes I hesitate putting it in the vending machine. That hurts.
Patrick! No! Patrick, no! Why did you put it? Stop! Grab it, Pat! Grab it! Hurry! No, Pat! No!
Oh, I know, yeah. I mean, you really don't get out what you should get out, of the vending machine. But it sure does taste good. So we kind of put that off to the side.
Give and take.
In hopes of, taste bud pleasure. But anyway, I think this is long overdue. I don't know. I guess a billionaire would be the one to do something like this. Because number one, he's not going to steal any money. He doesn't need it.
No.
He is a true friend and supporter of Donald Trump, so he is going to do what Trump has asked him to do, and I believe he has done that so far. I think he will continue to do that.
Yeah, and they both share the kind of same financial portfolio.
Sure.
They're very, very well off, but, they had help in the beginning,
of course.
As Trump, his famous quote, small loan of $1 million.
Yeah.
But, you know.
Not been easy for me. And, you know, I started off in Brooklyn. My father gave me a small loan of $1 million.
Now, look at what he turned it into. I mean, yeah, of course, there's failed business ventures and things like that, but everybody has that. But seeing what they went from and what they've created, I mean, it truly is something special. So they should be able to handle and help spend or help cut unnecessary spending.
Well, going back to Trump, this is unconfirmed, but I have read somewhere, heard somewhere that Donald Trump went bankrupt 3 times.
Oh, I believe it.
And has built his businesses back up to where they currently are. 3 times.
Yeah.
I've yet to be able to do that once. So he's got something going on.
Yeah.
You know, and Elon, I'll just say it is a strange cat. He seems like a strange cat to me.
Very book smart, but has a
very
difficult
book-smart.
time connecting with
Yes,
people.
absolutely.
He's worked with computers so long he turned into one.
Yeah, absolutely. So the electric vehicles, you know, he's done the satellite Starlink, he's SpaceX, and he owns Twitter. And
we're getting word that he is autistic.
I don't know that that's true, but it could be. I mean,
so the producers are claiming.
Yeah,
we'll find out. We'll fact check.
Okay. So, but he's doing an excellent job from what I have seen, read, and heard. And the thing that puzzles me is when you are looking at cutting spending, why would anybody stop you? If you were trying to eliminate wasteful spending, why would I stop you from doing that?
I don't know.
So there's federal judges that are actually stopping the movement of Doge for some reason.
Yeah.
That makes me think, conspiracy theorist warning.
Name keeps coming up over and over again. Every day, Pepe's mail's getting sent back to me. Pepe Sylvia, Pepe Sylvia. I look in the mail, well, this whole box is Pepe Sylvia. So I say to myself, I gotta find this guy.
That makes me think that they're going to lose money if Doge keeps going.
Oh, I'm sure.
The Democrats, the liberal Democrats, the very extremist liberal Democrats are crying in the streets. You've got mayors talking about, well, he doesn't need to come here and he doesn't need to stop that and that. Everybody has an agenda. But the agenda for the United States ought to be clear. It ought to be unified by Americans to take care of America first. After that, yes, send it some countries that people are suffering. What do they tell you in an airplane?
We got clear skies, good visibility. The temperature in Atlanta is 64 degrees.
When the oxygen masks drop, put your own on first before you help somebody else.
Yeah.
So I'm not advocating for selfishness. I'm just saying we have enough homeless veterans.
Lots of poverty.
We have lots of poverty. We have people, and I'll just say it.
I'm about to say it. Say it. I don't care that you broke your elbow.
We have people in this country that do not deserve the food stamps, the welfare, the disability, all that stuff that they're getting.
They're just trying to make a lot of people angry.
I'm sorry. Well, that's just the way the cookie crumbles. There are a lot more people that need it that don't get it. I think they need to look at that first. I think I would write Elon a message or send him a message or an email that says, please look at the disability. Please look at the welfare in this country. There are at least 50% of the people that don't deserve it. They don't have true disabilities. They don't have true need. I've seen people that are on welfare selling drugs.
What you want? I got ketamine, meth, MDMA, Adderall, bromo dragonfly, heroin, coke, crack, codeine, oxys, perks.
Well, if you're on drugs or selling drugs, you don't need welfare. That's just my personal opinion.
Mandatory drug testing? Is that
mandatory drug testing?
Is that a thing already or not?
I don't think so. Don't know. That might be something to check into. But if it's not, it needs to be.
Yeah,
so
that could help cut back on a lot.
Since we're talking about so much waste, I'm going to put my papaw glasses on here because I am a papaw.
His spectacles.
And I need glasses. So
it is confirmed, and our producers are reaching back out. It is confirmed, after I looked it up as well, that Elon Musk has Asperger's syndrome, which is a form of autism.
Oh, wow.
So, good to know.
Well, he's doing great.
That's why we got the people behind the scenes to help keep us in check.
We appreciate the fact checker.
Yeah.
Thank you all. So let me
this very vast crowd that's out there.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yes.
A whole room full of people.
Sea of wonderful. So here's just a little bit of a list of some wasteful things that Elon Musk and Doge has found and hopefully eliminated already. You might want to get you a puke bag before I start reading these to our audience because they made me sick. $1.5 million to advance diversity, equity, and inclusion in Serbia's workplaces and business communities. Why are we doing this in Serbia? Question mark. $70,000 for production of a diversity, equity, and inclusion musical in Ireland. Is that like the river dancing?
Maybe.
Once they did it to the river dancing.
Do you think they had their kilts?
They might have had their kilts. $2.5 million for electric vehicles for Vietnam. Wow.
And didn't just a few decades ago we were at war with Vietnam?
Yes.
And we're sending them money for their electric vehicles?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, these days we get in war with somebody and we blow everything up that they own and then we rebuild it better than they ever had it before. But maybe in this administration, and that'll stop. $47,000. Get this, for a transgender opera in Colombia.
Wonder how much the tickets were.
I mean, trust me, I believe in supporting the arts. I get it. But $47,000 for the transgender opera, $32,000 for a transgender comic book in Peru. Wonder what that would be called.
Instead of Superman or Superwoman, was a super thing? Super they.
So, a transgender comic book, what would it be? I wonder what it'd be named.
Super thing.
Super thing.
Super they.
Swamp thing? Yeah. Anyway. $2 million for sex changes and LGBT activism in Guatemala. Guatemala. $6 million to fund tourism in Egypt. Can the pyramids not fund themselves?
I guess not.
Why are we helping Egypt fund their tourism? $6 million.
Well, and referring back to episode 2 of Hillbilly Habitat Podcast, we mentioned that the individual that blew up New Orleans, or drove into the crowd and had, the explosive devices, he traveled to Egypt.
Yeah.
Which where he may have potentially been radicalized.
Yeah.
So if that's the case.
So are we funding some of that? Listen to the rest of this, okay? Speaking of that question.
Funding terrorism?
Hundreds of thousands of dollars for a non-profit linked to designated terrorist organizations even after an inspector general launched an investigation. Millions to EcoHealth Alliance, which was involved in research at the Wuhan lab. Remember the Wuhan flu?
And if you've been living under a rock, that's where COVID, especially, or supposedly, was birthed. If it was born out of a lab or if it came from bat soup. That
Yeah.
was one of the big speculations.
It's awful funny, the bat suit whole thing, and then there's a bat on the quarter for 2020 for the U.S. That's kind of, that might be another, that may be foretelling, our ancestors foretelling us the future. Millions to Echo Health. I worry went over that one.
We're having some technical difficulties with the lighting. If you'll just bear with us.
And even fertilizer used to support the unprecedented poppy cultivation and heroin production in Afghanistan, benefiting the Taliban. So we are funding with hundreds of millions of dollars the death of our own Americans. Ridiculous.
Well, putting the tinfoil hat on for a minute, allegedly, back when,
people lather themselves with. And then you can protect your head from the sun so you don't get...
See how fast I did that? Folks, I'm an expert. Every day when I leave work, I do this.
Back when the U.S. was in Afghanistan, before they pulled out of Afghanistan under, I believe it was Joe Biden's orders. Before that, there was a really big opioid epidemic. And ever since we pulled out of there, because apparently some of that was getting taken from Afghanistan and getting brought over to the U.S., which was causing a huge drug problem in the U.S. But ever since we've left there and we don't have that, or some of these people don't have access to that like what they once did, that's why fentanyl's more prevalent than opioids.
Because it's filled the gap where
the supply
has
not
been
there.
cut off.
Yeah.
Wow.
So.
Well, these are ridiculous.
Day, but...
Yeah, and you can see an agenda in this list. I mean, I've heard the thing in the last few days about we're paying someone $1 million to stand and look at the efficiency of something, running for 15 minutes, and it's just we're paying for somebody to basically do nothing, wasting that money, and it needs to go back to. History needs to repeat itself because back when, and I know every day, and I know I can speak for you, we work our hind ends off every day for $1. Yep. And
the good old-fashioned American dream.
That's right, buddy. Nightmares are dreams, too. But anyway, no, we're very blessed. I think you ought to work for your money. I do not think so many Americans now are looking for handout.
Spare change, ma'am.
Different administrations have given handouts, and that has changed people's way of thinking of I don't have to work on anything because we've promoted people to sit on their couch. We've even said, if you get off the couch and try to get a job, we're going to take this from you. So we're going to take the money we give you away if you try to go out here and better yourself. But yet the hardworking folks out here that are actually getting up early in the mornings, coming home late at night, working a hard day's work, we're paying for those couch potatoes. And as an American, I'm tired of that. I think everybody ought to own their own and really work hard. It would shock this country. It would probably kill some people if there was actually some welfare reform and disability reform and things like that, because they might lose their little government check that comes in the mail. I asked a guy one time, he was on disability. This has been years ago, and he's dead and gone now. But I asked him, I said, he said he was disabled. And I said, why are you disabled? He said, I'm an alcoholic. I said, so the government pays you to drink beer? Yeah. And he was sitting there drinking a case of Natural Light and beer cans all over his mom's living room floor, and he was sitting in his mom's couch watching his mom's TV, and he was definitely...
I bet mom paid the cable bill.
Yes, definitely a grown adult.
Yeah.
And but anyway, I'll let you guess. I'll give you 2 guesses on what he died from. But
liver failure.
Yeah, basically he was getting money from the U.S. government to drink because he was an alcoholic. Yes, it is a sickness, but we don't need to promote that sickness. We don't need to promote that addiction. It's just like these opioids that we were guarding over there, for a while, and how bad the U.S. was going through a crisis of drug addiction, which they still are. It's just changing this drug for this drug.
Chasing a high.
Yeah, and I mean, we may do another thing on this one day, but I believe Suboxone's trading out one drug for the other. I believe that people are making millions of dollars off of Suboxone, and it's not being used correctly. So, I mean, that's another sermon for another day. But going back, not chasing too many rabbits, going back to the wasteful spending, that's definitely more of, they need to look further into those dark corners, and disability welfare needs to be reformed. Big time.
I know a few people personally, and I don't think they're watching this, but if you are, you know who you are. But they, lost their job, and they're on unemployment. Sure, that's what it's intended for. Mm-hmm. If you get let go from a job, get on unemployment, find another job, get back on your feet. That way your family doesn't suffer due to some traumatic experience or whatever. But as soon as they get on this unemployment, they realize, oh, this is kind of nice. I've got all this time to myself, and the government is paying me. And instead of going and searching for another job, they just proceed just to keep going as it is and just milk it for everything it's got.
Yep. So somebody said one time, this world is about getting what you can, canning what you get, and sitting on your can. And I'm sure a lot of people will get that out here, but basically it's take advantage and manipulate anybody you can to get everything you can, and then you hog it all to yourself, and you sit down and just wait on the next sucker to come by.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, if they'll just look at, there's so many different other dark corners that they could look in for waste and recovering American taxpayers' money.
Well, in my opinion, July 4th, 2026 is when it's supposedly, set to end, since it's temporary. I don't know if that's enough time.
I don't either.
You're talking about decades on decades on decades of millions and billions and trillions of dollars being spent. That's a hard pile to get through.
Well, and what happens in 4 years? It could go right back to the way it was. Mm-hmm. There's no accountability.
Right.
Nobody, even though we're finding all this waste and these lists and things, who did that? People need to be questioned. People need to be held accountable. Who did that? Who allowed that to happen? Mm-hmm. I'm sure under a certain amount they don't have to get approval. Just probably like anything else, it has to be a certain amount before they have to go before anybody to get approval. And, in the great scheme of things, $70,000 is like 50 cents. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, that's not even a drop in the bucket.
Right. In the trillions of dollars that we're in deficit, if we was to pay $70,000 to our deficit, it wouldn't, we wouldn't even know the
numbers wouldn't move.
No, we wouldn't even know anything. We wouldn't even have paid the interest. But it's sickening that we could take that money that we're wasting on this stupid stuff, pay bills, work hard. Now that's some money I could get behind. If you want to pay some taxpayer money, pay my money toward educating these confused young men and young women on who they are and why they are and what their responsibilities in today are, what their roles are, what they need to be.
So you're promoting old-fashioned American values?
Oh my gosh, yes! I'm so
sorry. A lot of people today would scoff at that.
I want to apologize to our audience. I'm so sorry for bringing in the real American, virtues and morals that we were founded on here in this country of the United States of America, under God, which it says indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So it still is in our Pledge of Allegiance. We are under God. But are we under God? Are we letting God reign our country? I don't think so. We need to get back to God.
Gotta give this world back to God.
Anyway, my rant is over.
I am
a patriot all the way from A to B. And
best country in the world.
A best country in the world still, even though we're wasteful. But we get no say on where our dollars go to. No say at all.
Nope.
Did you know that your dollars were going to a transgender comic book in whatever? Did you know that 6 million of your tax dollars were going to Egypt to fund their tourism? What does that get us?
I didn't get a free trip to Egypt.
What does that get the United States? What
Nothing.
What help does that give us as Americans?
Well, and it's hard to justify all this spending overseas, and I get it. You know, yes, we want to help people. We want to help the lesser fortunate countries. I'm not saying, you know, we're only helping ourselves, forget everybody else.
No.
But when you've got homeless veterans and just even like in your larger cities, you've just got rows of tents and large amounts of homeless people that are going hungry, and there's, you know, loads of drug problems. How can you justify sending all of this money overseas when your own people are hurting?
Don't give it to them, but develop programs, develop accountability, develop points, levels, whatever you have to do. Give them routes to get out of this situation.
Yeah.
Put this money into something constructive. Find the cure to cancer. Yeah, I know it's worth billions and trillions of dollars for people to be on cancer and all these meds and all this.
Yeah, conspiracy theory. Conspiracy theory that there's actually a cure, but they make too much off of the treatments.
And look at diabetes. Look at all these shots coming out. Of course, we're chasing rabbits like crazy right now, and I get that.
That's what we do.
But coming back around, we need to get back to America. We need to be getting back to our Christian principles, morals, virtues, being kind, loving ourselves, loving others, loving God. That's where we need to be getting to. And, you know, the more I think about it, the more I want to talk about God in some of these episodes. Yeah, maybe somebody don't believe in God, but God is the one that gives us everything that we have. Look at the sky at night sometimes. We've had a cotton candy sky is what I call it. Pinks, blues, purples. Just beautiful. There is nobody else that could paint such a pretty picture for us other than our God. And I am a Trump supporter. I am an Elon Musk supporter. I am a God supporter. And I'm proud to say that I am an American, a U.S. citizen. That's another thing we'll talk about at some point is these deportees that are here illegally. And what we just talked about a few minutes ago before we got going live is we love people to come here. We need people to come here.
Yeah, we
are
not against immigrants.
We need
immigrants.
Yeah, we need people to come here so we'll thrive, but we want them to come here legally. We want them to pay taxes, to know that their money also goes to Syria for the Taliban, or we want you to come here legally, because if somebody's done it the right way and you don't do it the right way, you're really, I mean, that's like a slap in the face to the ones that tried to do it the right way. So, and I'm not saying that there shouldn't be maybe a faster way of getting citizenship if you earn it.
Yeah, because that's even something we could talk about, because I know it's many years of a process of, you know, everything you have to do in order to get it, and you know they're so behind, and you know this and that, and it just takes a very, very, very long time.
Yes,
but that doesn't excuse. I'm just going to go over anyway. Just you know, not try to obtain it the correct way.
So we want to encourage you all to keep up with Donald Trump, what he's doing. Keep up with Elon Musk and the Doge, D-O-G-E. What's it? The Doge service. Contracted organization through the federal government. Keep up with that. Keep looking at the list of waste that you got from Democrats, and I would say even Republicans before that. I'm not saying that this is not everybody's fault, but
there's bad on both sides.
Yeah, just keep up with it. Anyway, wanted to go into Hillbilly Habitat Podcast has merch now. We have T-shirts, $25.
We've got mugs.
We have mugs, $25. And we ask, if you feel like you want some of these, just let us know and we'll get you on the order list. It's just something to help fund us to keep
help the small business.
Yeah, help the small business doing this good content, talking about these different issues. We just need some funding for some airtime, and we appreciate everything that you've done for us, your support and your continued support. Pray for us.
Be sure to subscribe, join the Habitat.
Yep, that's it. Join the Habitat.
But if you are interested in the merch, just shoot us an email.
Yeah.
We'll get to you that way.
Absolutely.
That'll be the easiest way.
Absolutely.
I'll throw the email link up on the screen. Hillbilly Habitat Podcast at gmail.com.
Well, for this episode, I'm Vee Dub.
I'm Andy Doug.
And just keep up with Elon and Donald and see what they're doing. For this episode, we'll see you next time. Signing out.